Mahalo, Secretary Kendall, General Brown, General Raymond, for being here today, for your leadership of our United States Air Force. Secretary Kendall, you approved the legislative proposal that was sent to Congress this month to combine active duty and reserve components into a U.S. Space Force with full-time and part-time members, effectively canceling any plans for an Air National Guard component of the Space Force. Is that correct?
I believe that is correct.
Well, Ms. Secretary, this is particularly concerning to me. Dismantling Air National Guard space units would immediately degrade operational readiness that would take about 7 years to regrow and cost taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars. In fact, in Hawaii, this decision would displace approximately 50 airmen currently assigned to the Hawaii Space Unit and a total planned force structure of 88 members of the 293rd Space Control Squadron located at the Pacific Missile Range facility on Kauai. How much would it cost the Department of Defense and the Space Force to establish this new active duty capability as outlined in this legislative proposal?
The proposal does not do away with any existing force structure. It changes the way we manage the reserve and the active component of the Space Force. The guardsmen, the Air Guard people who are supporting the Space Force now will continue to do so. They are very valuable assets, and we do not want to lose them. They're critical to the space mission. What we're discussing is how they're labeled and what kind of an organizational construct they fit into. The concern the administration has is that the overhead cost of creating a new independent Space Guard as an entity would be significant. And that's the reason that the administration has opposed the creation of a Space Guard writ large. There are a number of ways I think we can solve this problem. But at the end of the day, what we need is to keep those people in uniform and to keep them doing what they are doing, whether they're called Air Guard or Space Guard or something else. That's the end state that we want. And we're happy to work with the Congress as we try to find a way forward to make that happen. I'd like to give General Raymond a chance to...
Well, I believe the Space National Guard would provide a seamless surge capacity for the Space Force while capturing the training and talent of active duty Space Force personnel who move to the private sector and want to continue their service in the National Guard. So, General Raymond, using your best military advice, do you think we should or should not have a Space National Guard?
We've been operating with the Guard for 25 years. They provide critical capability and provide great personnel. As our Secretary said, there's multiple ways you can do this. You can have a separate Space National Guard. You can utilize the Air National Guard to continue doing what we're doing today, or you can take those capabilities out of the Guard and put them into this active duty reserve combined. There's multiple ways you can do it, but the key is, as the Secretary said, is the guardsmen and women that are in the space business and the capabilities they operate, we rely on today, and we're going to rely on them in the future.
You know, Congress has made, CBO has made incorrect assumptions regarding the size and scope of a Space National Guard. In its cost estimates, which yielded a cost estimate of $100 million in annual operation and support costs and a one-time construction cost of $20 million. It's why Congressman Crow and I sent a letter to CBO asking them to rescore the cost of establishing a Space National Guard because the cost should be minimal. Those same personnel that General Raymond, you just talked about, will continue to execute their missions within the Space National Guard at the same duty stations, so no new construction is needed. From a cost perspective, why should we go forward with this policy when we already have the talent within the Air National Guard to train, deploy, and provide critical space capability for the Space Force using existing infrastructure? General Raymond.
Today there's about 839 guardsmen in the Air National Guard that support the Space Force. 839 in 8 states and 1 territory. Again, they provide critical capability for us. And again, there's multiple ways you can do this, and there's different costs associated with each one of those ways, but there's multiple ways you can do it. The critical piece of this, though, is that we rely on them today, and we're going to have to rely on them in the future.
Secretary Kendall, Congress has requested multiple reports on the value and feasibility of establishing a Space National Guard. Any idea why the Congress hasn't received these reports submitted to the Congress on the value and feasibility of establishing a Space National Guard?
The short answer is I don't know. We should be able to provide you with information. I'm not sure why that hasn't happened. Now, I know you know what the administration's position is, obviously, on this, and it's a fairly firm position, but it is based on concerns about overhead and cost. And again, we'd be happy to have a dialogue with you and try to find a solution that was mutually acceptable that get us what we all want, which is to keep these people in uniform and serving their country.
Thank you for your answers. Mahalo, Mr. Chairman. I yield back the remaining balance of my time.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson's recommendation.